Picture this. You're sitting alone in your room at 2 a.m., scrolling through social media, watching everyone else celebrate their victories while you're buried in failure. Your family thinks you're wasting your time. Your friends stopped calling. That person you thought believed in you. They just told you to be realistic. The weight of their doubt presses down on your chest like 1,000 pounds of concrete. And for a moment, just a moment, you think about giving up. You think about joining them, the masses, the mediocre, the ones who settled for safety over greatness. But something inside you refuses to break. Something whispers that they're wrong. That fire, that refusal to surrender, that's what separates you from the 99% who will never escape their ordinary lives. Welcome to the arena where only the ruthless survive. This isn't a feel-good pep talk. This isn't therapy. This is war strategy for your mind, and you're about to learn the 7 mind tricks that Machiavelli himself would use to conquer doubt, manipulate circumstance, and rise when everyone expects you to fall. The world doesn't reward the nice. It doesn't reward the patient. It rewards the strategic, the relentless, the ones who understand that power isn't given, it's taken. And you're about to become one of them. Let me ask you something. When everyone around you says you can't, when the entire world tells you to quit, when your own mind turns against you in the darkest hours, what do? Most people crumble. Most people seek validation. Most people compromise their vision to fit into someone else's box of acceptable dreams. But you're not most people. You're here because you sense something they don't. That isolation, that doubt, that crushing weight of being alone in your ambition, it's not your weakness. It's your weapon. And by the time we're done here, you'll know exactly how to wield it. The first mind trick is this. Doubt is your filter, not your enemy. When people doubt you, when they laugh at your goals, when they call you crazy, your immediate reaction is to feel hurt. To feel defensive. That desperation to prove them wrong right now? That's ego. And ego will destroy you faster than any external enemy ever could. Here's what the masses do. They take doubt personally. They internalize it. They waste energy arguing, explaining, justifying their vision to people who will never understand it. They leak their power, dilute their focus, and slow down their progress by years. But here's what the 1% understand. Doubt is a filtering mechanism. When someone doubts you, they're announcing their own limitations. They're not commenting on your potential. They're revealing their ceiling. And the moment you understand this, you stop needing their approval. You start moving in silence, building in private, and letting your results do the talking. Julius Caesar faced doubt from the Roman Senate. Steve Jobs was fired from his own company. Elon Musk was mocked for trying to build rockets. Every single person who changed the game faced an army of doubters, and they all won by doing the same thing. They stopped explaining and started executing. Doubt is like gravity. It only affects those who don't know how to fly. When someone tells you it's impossible, you don't argue. You smile. You nod. And you go back to work with even more fire. From this moment forward, every time someone doubts you, say this out loud: your doubt is my fuel. Your limits are not mine. I am building what you cannot see. Say it. Mean it. Burn it into your consciousness, because this is the foundation of everything that follows. The second mind trick. Isolation is incubation. You feel alone right now, don't you? Your circle got smaller. The people who said they'd ride with you got off at the first stop. And there's this voice in your head asking if you made the wrong choice. Let me destroy that thought right now. The masses fear isolation because they equate being alone with being wrong. They need constant validation, constant company, constant noise. They move in herds because herds feel safe, but here's the truth: herds get slaughtered together. Herds never innovate, never lead, never create anything that matters. You know who works in isolation? Every master who ever lived. Michelangelo, locked away for 4 years painting the Sistine Chapel while Rome gossiped. Newton, isolated during the plague, inventing calculus. Oprah, fired from her news job, sitting alone figuring out her next move before building a media empire. Isolation gave them focus. It gave them clarity. It gave them space to become who they needed to be. When you're alone, you're not being punished. You're being positioned. The universe is removing distractions. Most people waste this gift crying about loneliness instead of capitalizing on the opportunity. Not you. You're going to use this isolation to build in secret, to learn what they won't learn, to become what they can never become. Every night you spend alone working while they're out wasting time? That's compound interest on your future. Every moment you invest in yourself while they invest in distractions? That's separation. Repeat after me, my isolation is my evolution. I am becoming in private what they will witness in public. I am not alone. I am focused. Lock that in. The third mind trick, and this one is savage. Operate in silence until your success makes the noise. This is where amateurs reveal themselves every single time. They announce plans. They post their goals. They tell everyone what they're about to do before they've done anything. And then they wonder why they fail. Here's the psychology most people miss. When you announce your plans, your brain gets a hit of dopamine. It feels good. People validate you, and your mind registers that as accomplishment even though you've accomplished nothing. You get the reward without the work, and suddenly the actual execution becomes harder. But there's something even more dangerous. When you announce your plans, you invite sabotage. A friend who plants seeds of doubt. A family member who asks, "What if it doesn't work?" Competition who now knows your moves. You've given away your power before you've built anything to protect it. The masses need validation at every step. They need cheerleaders. They need permission. They need the world to believe in them before they believe in themselves. That's why they fail. They've outsourced their faith to the crowd, and the crowd is fickle and ultimately doesn't care about your success. Look at Jeff Bezos building Amazon for years before anyone understood what he was creating. Leonardo da Vinci working in private workshops, revealing masterpieces only when complete. They understood, the market rewards results, not announcements. Build in private. Work in silence. Let them wonder. Let them think you gave up. Meanwhile, you're executing, learning, becoming dangerous. Then, when your results are undeniable, that's when you reveal what you've built. Say this, my silence is my strategy. My work speaks louder than my words. I build empires while they build excuses. Because the moment you stop performing for approval and start performing for results, everything changes. The fourth mind trick. Master the art of strategic distance. This one will make you uncomfortable, but comfort is for the average. You need to understand that not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone deserves your energy. Not everyone deserves your time. And most people in your life right now are draining your power without adding any value. That's not cynical. That's tactical awareness. The masses are taught to be available, to be nice, to maintain relationships even when those relationships are parasitic. They're taught that cutting people off is mean, that setting boundaries is selfish, that protecting your energy is arrogant. So they stay connected to energy vampires, dream killers, and mediocrity merchants, and then they wonder why they can't level up. You want to know why? Because you're only as strong as your weakest link, and you're surrounding yourself with broken chains. Here's what the 1% knows. Your circle determines your ceiling. The 5 people you spend the most time with determine your income, your mindset, your habits, your future. If you're surrounding yourself with people who celebrate small wins, you'll achieve small wins. If you're surrounding yourself with people who make excuses, you'll make excuses. If you're surrounding yourself with people who doubt big dreams, you'll start doubting yours. It's not about being better than them. It's about being strategic with your environment. Machiavelli wrote extensively about choosing allies carefully. He knew that a weak ally is more dangerous than an obvious enemy because they compromise your strength from within. Napoleon understood this. He removed anyone from his inner circle who didn't match his ambition. Rockefeller built his empire by carefully selecting who got proximity to him. They weren't being cruel. They were being strategic. They understood that greatness requires protection, and protection requires distance from mediocrity. Now here's where people get confused. This doesn't mean you become cold or heartless. This means you become selective. You love from a distance the people who aren't going where you're going. You wish them well. You send good energy. But you don't let them slow down your mission. You don't let their limitations become your limitations. You don't sacrifice your future for their comfort. That's not selfish. That's self-preservation. That's survival at the highest level. Think about it practically. If you're trying to build a business and you're surrounded by people who work 9-to-5 jobs and think entrepreneurship is risky, what do you think happens? They won't outright sabotage you, but they'll ask you every week if you found a real job yet. They'll suggest you apply for positions. They'll plant doubt disguised as concern. Not because they're evil, but because your success challenges their choices. Your growth makes them uncomfortable. So they subconsciously try to pull you back to their level. Cut them off. Not with drama. Not with announcements. Just quietly create distance. Stop sharing your plans with them. Stop seeking their approval. Stop attending every function, every gathering, every event that doesn't serve your mission. Your time is your most valuable asset, and you've been giving it away for free to people who don't appreciate its worth. That ends now. Repeat this. I protect my energy like I protect my life. Distance is not rejection. It's direction. I am moving forward, and only those moving with me get access. Say it until you believe it. Because once you master strategic distance, once you create space between yourself and everything that drains you, you'll discover something magical. You'll have more energy, more focus, more clarity, and more progress than you've had in years. You'll become untouchable because you've removed everything that could touch you. The fifth mind trick. Use doubt as intelligence gathering. This is advanced. This separates the players from the masters. When someone doubts you, your first instinct is to dismiss them, to write them off, to label them a hater. But what if I told you their doubt is actually giving you valuable information? What if their skepticism is revealing gaps in your strategy that you can't see? Here's what weak people do. They take all doubt as hate. They become defensive. They close themselves off to feedback because their ego is too fragile to handle criticism. So they miss valuable insights. They miss warnings about real problems. They miss opportunities to strengthen their approach before it's too late. Their pride blinds them, and blind people walk off cliffs. But here's what strategic minds do. They listen to doubt without internalizing it. They analyze criticism without being destroyed by it. They ask, is there any truth here I can use? Is there a weakness in my plan I haven't considered? Is there a perspective I'm missing? And if the answer is yes, they adjust. They adapt. They improve. If the answer is no, they discard it and move on. Either way, they extract value from the interaction. Machiavelli advised princes to have advisors who could speak truth, even harsh truth, because a leader who surrounds himself only with yes-men becomes weak and delusional. Napoleon studied his enemies extensively because understanding their perspective made him a better strategist. Bezos famously said he welcomes criticism because it makes Amazon better. They understood that doubt, when properly filtered, becomes intelligence. Think about this practically. Someone tells you your business idea won't work. Instead of getting defensive, ask why they think that. Maybe they point out a market reality you haven't researched. Maybe they reveal a customer pain point you haven't addressed. Maybe they're completely wrong and their reasons expose how little they understand, which confirms you're on the right path. Either way, you gain information. You get smarter. You refine your approach. Here's the key distinction. You listen to understand, not to obey. You gather intelligence, but you don't surrender your vision. You remain the final authority on your life, your goals, your decisions. But you become wise enough to extract lessons from every source, even sources that oppose you. This is the difference between stubborn and strategic. Stubborn people reject all input and crash because they missed critical warnings. Strategic people filter input, extract value, and adjust course while maintaining direction. The masses are too emotional to do this. Someone doubts them, and they either collapse in self-pity or lash out in defense. Both reactions are weak. Both reactions waste energy. Both reactions miss the opportunity to get better. You're going to be different. You're going to be cold and calculating in the best way possible. Every doubt that comes your way is now data. Every criticism is now research. Every person who says you can't is now a teacher showing you exactly what to prepare for. Say this out loud. I welcome doubt because it sharpens me. I extract lessons from criticism. I am strategic, not emotional. Every voice against me makes me stronger. Believe that. Because when you stop being offended by doubt and start being educated by it, you become someone who cannot be stopped. You're learning from everyone, even your enemies, especially your enemies, and that's a power most people will never access. The sixth mind trick. Create your own validation system. This is the shift that changes everything. Right now, whether you realize it or not, you're operating on someone else's validation system. You're measuring your worth by their standards. Your success by their metrics. Your progress by their timeline. And that's why you're frustrated, anxious, and constantly feeling behind. You're playing a game where someone else sets the rules and moves the goalpost whenever you get close. The masses need external validation because they have no internal compass. They need likes, comments, praise, recognition, awards, titles, approval from parents, respect from peers, acknowledgement from strangers. They're addicted to external feedback because they've never developed internal conviction. So they spend their entire lives performing for an audience, chasing metrics that don't matter, and feeling empty even when they win because the win was never really theirs. Here's what the 1% understands. The only validation that matters is the validation you give yourself. The only approval you need is your own. The only measurement that counts is whether you're becoming who you intended to become, whether you're building what you intended to build, whether you're living according to your values and your vision. Everything else is noise. Everything else is distraction. Everything else is someone else's game that you don't need to play. Machiavelli wrote that a prince must be willing to act against public opinion, against common morality, against the approval of the masses if it serves the greater goal of maintaining power and stability. He wasn't saying be evil. He was saying be independent. Be self-directed. Be willing to stand alone in your judgment because the crowd is often wrong, often late, often incapable of seeing what you see. Look at Van Gogh. Died broke and unknown. Created hundreds of masterpieces that nobody bought. By society's validation system, he was a failure. But by his own validation system, he was fulfilling his purpose. He painted because he had to paint, not because anyone applauded. Today, his work is priceless. Society finally caught up to his internal validation system decades after his death. He was right. They were wrong. But he never lived to see them admit it. Here's your new framework. Define success for yourself. Define progress for yourself. Define winning for yourself. Write it down. Make it specific. Make it personal. Make it yours. Then measure yourself only against that standard. Not against what your parents wanted. Not against what your classmates achieved. Not against what social media says you should have by a certain age. Against your own vision, your own values, your own timeline. Maybe success for you is building a business that gives you freedom, not a business that makes you famous. Maybe progress for you is learning a new skill every quarter, not hitting someone else's income bracket. Maybe winning for you is having complete control of your time, not having a title that impresses strangers. Whatever it is, it's yours to define. And once you define it, you become immune to external judgment because you're playing a different game entirely. The freedom this creates is unmatched. Suddenly, you don't care that your old friends are getting promotions at companies you never wanted to work for. You don't care that someone on Instagram is flexing a lifestyle you don't even value. You don't care that your family thinks you should settle down when settling is the last thing your soul wants. You're on your own path, measured by your own standards, validated by your own progress, and nobody can take that from you. Repeat this: I define success. I measure progress. I validate myself. External opinions are irrelevant to my internal mission. I am the authority on my life. Mean it. Memorize it. Make it the foundation of everything you do. Because the moment you stop seeking validation from the world and start generating it from within, you become truly free. You become truly powerful. You become someone who cannot be controlled, cannot be manipulated, cannot be stopped by the opinions of people who don't even know your destination. The seventh and final mind trick: make your comeback inevitable through ruthless preparation. Everyone loves a comeback story. But here's what nobody tells you: comebacks aren't lucky. They're the result of ruthless preparation during the time when nobody's watching. The masses think a comeback is about waiting for the right opportunity. So they waste their downtime complaining, and when opportunity arrives, they're not ready. They fumble it. Here's what the 1% knows. Your comeback started the moment you decided to stop quitting. Opportunity isn't rare. Preparedness is rare. Muhammad Ali was banned from boxing for 3 years in his prime. He trained anyway. When his chance came, he reclaimed his title. Robert Downey Jr., career destroyed, Hollywood blacklisted him. He prepared himself mentally and physically. When Iron Man came, he was ready. The comeback was inevitable because the preparation was ruthless. You're in your valley right now. Nobody believes you're coming back. Perfect. While they're sleeping on you, you're working. Every skill you develop in silence, that's compound interest on your comeback. Your comeback isn't about luck. It's about making yourself so capable that success isn't a question of if, but when. Say this: my comeback is inevitable. My preparation is ruthless. I am building in silence what they will witness in awe. I am ready. I am dangerous. I am coming. Now let's bring this all together. You've just learned 7 mind tricks that will separate you from the 99%. 1. Doubt is your filter. 2. Isolation is incubation. 3. Operate in silence. 4. Master strategic distance. 5. Use doubt as intelligence. 6. Create your own validation system. 7. Make your comeback inevitable through ruthless preparation. These aren't just concepts. These are weapons. This is how masters dominate while everyone else struggles. You now have that understanding. The question is, what are you going to do with it? Here's what I need from you. If this lit a fire inside you, subscribe to this channel. We're building an army of people who refuse to settle. Share this with someone in their valley right now, someone who needs to know isolation is part of the process. And leave a comment with the affirmation that hit you hardest. Your doubt is my fuel. My isolation is my evolution. My silence is my strategy. My comeback is inevitable. Pick one. Type it. Declare it publicly. The world is divided into two types: those who let circumstances define them, and those who define their circumstances. You get to decide which group you're in. Right now. This moment. You can continue seeking approval, fearing isolation, taking doubt personally, or you can join the 1% who understand that every obstacle is a filter, every setback is preparation. Your comeback story is being written right now. Not in some distant future. Right now. In this valley. In this doubt. This is where you refuse to quit. Where you double down. Where you become obsessive about preparation and ruthless about focus. Years from now, when you're standing on top of the mountain you're climbing, when people call you lucky, you'll remember this moment. The nights you worked anyway. The days nobody believed but you kept building. You'll smile knowing success isn't random, it's strategic. You are not a victim. You are not defined by current results. You are not limited by others' opinions. You are inevitable. But only if you choose to be. Only if you implement these 7 mind tricks starting today. The choice is yours. The power is yours. The future is yours. But you have to take it. Nobody's going to hand it to you. So stop waiting for permission. Stop seeking validation. Start executing. Start becoming the person who makes comebacks look easy. This is your moment. Are you the person who quits when it gets hard? Or the person who gets hard when it gets hard? You know the answer. Now go be that. Ruthlessly. Strategically. Relentlessly. Make everyone who doubted you regret it. Not through revenge. Through undeniable success. Your silence has been long enough. Your moment is coming. And when it arrives, you won't just succeed. You'll dominate. You are the 1%. Act like it. This is your time. Take it.